Hi, everybody. So I am having one of those sudden, just dizzy, fall over, blurry vision eyes, doing fun things day. And I figured, I still, still supposed to go to work, but more importantly, I still need to put on my body braid because even if, say, I were just going to do nothing today, my body braid is still crucial for my back pain and keeping my posture upright, especially when I'm having these wobbly, dizzy, woozy, fall over and, wall and furniture walk days, because it gives me a little more perception and grounding in my body. And it actually does help with some of that. But it's more challenging, of course, to put it on when, you're not necessarily all there and at your best. So I figured, I'm doing these videos and instructions and tips, and but usually I'm good, I'm happy, it's easy, and I figured, why not show when you're having a hard day too, so when you're not all there and when you need a little help. So also, I'm a fall over if I do the usual on how I get it on my feet, and I would normally use one of those hand grabbers to help me put on my body braid. Well, my wonderful son broke that, so today we're going to problem solve as I put this on and just kind of go through the process and see what happens. And hopefully, it can be helpful to other people that may just be having a foggy, fuzzy day and just having a little bit of a harder time with something that normally wouldn't have been that big of a deal. So, here's my body braid. I haven't even put it on yet. And I know that with my eyes doing the weird things that they're doing, I'm going to get confused with these straps, even though I put this on every day. And I'm so used to it that, I could almost do it blind. Well, when I get confused like this, it's not that easy. I had thought about dyeing the white portions of my braid, but then I was like, that limits the outfits I could wear with it. And I don't want to do that. So I can't wear KT tape on my skin because it does bad things and tears my skin off and stuff. But I can use it on my wraps to help me identify what wrap is where to what side. So that's what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to take some of this KT tape and I'm just basically using it as a visual marker of what's what so that I can put on my braid. So real quick, I'm going to mark. Ooh, yay. So much fun, dizzy, saying triple of everything. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put it on the inside white part so it stands out, but it's also just kind of not in the way because I do, want to be able to function and whatnot. So I'm putting it on a single side. Got to make sure again that I got the correct side going. So today I'm going to put this on the right side just because that's the one that I happen to grab. And of course, the dogs got their dog hair in my Velcro when I was lazy yesterday, and when I took it off, I didn't put it up out of reach, and now they decided to lay on it and got dog hair in my Velcro. Fortunately, I have found that overall, the body braid releases dog hair quite easily because I got huskies and they shed like you wouldn't believe. Well, if you have huskies, you would believe it. And so I always had dog hair on everything. But if you were to compare these body braid straps to the rest of my clothing, there's virtually no hair with the exception of on the Velcro pieces, which, just kind of makes sense. So just another little tip, very dog friendly. I have white dogs, and the body braid is probably the only thing that I have that's not always covered in dog hair. So normally I would stand up for this part, but I know I'm gonna fall down. So I'm just gonna use this, just kind of bounce myself from it because you don't have to stand up for this. You can do all of this seated. I just, I like to wiggle and shimmy, and I just like to do it standing up. That's my preference. And I'm making sure I've got the red straps over here and the non-red straps over here. And I'm going to adjust my shoulders real quick before I sit back down because I also like to sit on my straps once I cross them so that they're snug while I do the other part of the straps. So I'm going to cross over, and now my right strap's going to be on the left, and I'm going to flip out my back straps like those tuxedo little tails. I'm gonna flip those out, I get a little loopy and a little funny when I get like this, so please excuse me. And then I'm just gonna sit on my crossed pieces, which you don't really need to use this much motion. I tend to, yeah, when I'm woozy, this is how it goes. So that feels good. I like that. And recently, I had my Zoom meeting with Blair, the designer and basically inventor of these, and amazing guy. And he gave me some tips to help increase the low back support because I have a need for just really good low back support. So I don't want that one yet. So your body braid comes with long and short extensions. And because I'm going to wrap this around my back, before wrapping it around my legs, I'm going to need both extensions. So I just need to make sure I'm keeping track of, each side gets one long and one short. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So I'm going to set these aside separately real quick. Can you go away, go. I'm fine. I don't need you yet. Go. So my dogs are trained to help me up. If I fall or like if I'm woozy, they're trained to kind of be close and put pressure and kind of help stabilize me. But right now, that's not helpful. Go away. So I know I'm rambling a little bit, and this video is going to be all over the place. So I'm going to start with the red side, and I'm going to also put some KT tape on this extension strap so I can remember that this is, on that side without having to trace it all the way back. Come on. Like an animal, like a boss. That's what that is, like a boss. And I'm just putting on the inside right by the Velcro because that's kind of the part of the strap I'm usually grabbing onto and trying to identify where it belongs. So there's that one. And then I'm going to grab, and I found one thing that I really loved when I first tried this yesterday is that normally you put your extensions on basically the bottom, right? And then you wrap them around and then you attach it to the strap that I'm sitting on, but that has the little loop thing and the soft Velcro that you attach to. And sometimes I end up twisting around and having a little bit of trouble with that. So yesterday, I went ahead and I took my extra extension strap, the short one, and I pre-attached it, kind of guessing how many Velcro spots it was going to need. And I could just adjust it. What did I do yesterday? I did 4. Perfect. Because I found that when I'm doing this just regularly, even on a regular basis, the thing that takes the longest is this part of the adjustment right here. When you're putting it through the loop and you're attaching it to the soft Velcro, and then you're getting both straps to be nice and even and flat and not bunched up. And when you're doing that and it's already tightened against your body, it requires a little more effort. So I tried this yesterday and it was amazing. It really was. It worked perfectly. And since this is on the strap that I put my red tape, I'm going to do the same here. Come on. Because I didn't think of doing this originally. And first time I was all confused and discombobulated and trying to put this on. I think I turned myself into like a bowl of spaghetti or something. It was crazy. The straps, I don't even know what happened. I couldn't even explain it. This is actually a very simple system, but when your brain's not working right, it can be a little more complicated. So hopefully this helps people that maybe might be having a bit of a fuzzy day too. I'm going to go back and just kind of tuck this because I don't want to do, no, I want this on this side because it's not red. I need the red side to stay on the red side. Ta-da, useful. All right, so I'm going to add my straps to the other side because I found for me personally, I like adding all my straps before I start kind of winding or wrapping. Because I'll start winding or wrapping and I'll run out of room with my straps. And then it gets all loose when I have to go and attach the strap. And it, I don't like it. I find it easier to do all the attachment first. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take my non-red side and I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the other side. I'm going to take my short extension strap and I'm going to pull it through and count up how many. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I did this yesterday, I found that for me, going up 4 of the soft Velcro bits was perfect. And so I'll give you the little soft, I don't want to call them squares, rectangles. So that's how I count how far and how stretched and whatnot. And it helps me be even on both sides. Okay. So that's attached, and that's attached. Outstanding. So now I don't have to worry about getting my extension straps attached to the wrong side. And then I have like one really long side and the other side's not attached at all. So I'm going to start with my red side. And I'm going to still go ahead and do an extra wrap around my back, as was recommended by Dr. Blair in our Zoom video. And I was so happy with the video. It was awesome. You guys, if you are having trouble with this, feel free. Reach out to me, reach out to other influencers or people that you see doing instructional videos, because I'm kind of obsessed with playing with this and finding different ways to wear it and explain it. And reach out to the company because they are very responsive. They are very helpful. And I really got a lot of insight in my Zoom meeting with them. And it was very, very beneficial and exciting. So now my red side, since I'm going to wrap it, is on the wrong side. But by the time I cross it over on my very low back, as low as I need it, and come back out, it'll be on the correct side. And I know that I crossed the correct strap. So when I first did these yesterday, playing around, seeing what would work, I ended up crossing the wrong straps and had a hard time untangling myself for a minute. These things are amazing, but when you're playing around with them, you kind of need to pay attention to what you're doing. So now that I have it crossed and I've got extra low back support, I'm going to go ahead and do my normal through the inside of the leg of the thigh. So this is now coming from across my low back from the other side all the way down and then to the inside of the thigh. And when I stand up, I kind of shimmy it just a little bit lower to kind of get really nice and low because I have sciatic issues, and it's amazing. So yesterday I did a shift at my son's school. And normally it's broken up by grade, is how I think of my schedule. By the end of the kindergartner's recess, I'm getting the twinges and the tingling in my back. And then by the end of the next group's recess, first and second grade, I'm hurting. It's not terrible, but my back hurts. Then by the end of third and fourth, I'm in pain. I am in pain. And I'm praying for, I don't know, a sudden thunderstorm to make all the kids go inside. And I can sit down because I'm in pain. And then by the time fifth and sixth comes around, I've got nerve pain shooting down my leg from my back. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get in my vehicle because I start losing muscle movement and control of my legs. So it gets kind of hairy by the end of my shift. And yesterday was the first day I did it with the new low back support that he recommended. And I made it through the entire shift. And by the end of the very last group, I had a little twinge in my back, a little bit of pain because I still have the back injury. This isn't going to fix that. But it gave me enough support that I was able to really drastically extend the length of time I was able to be up and mobile. Now I still needed breaks. I still used my arm crutches to add extra support and take more weight off of my low back and give me a little extra balance still. But having used that for years before I got the Body Braid, that's amazing and all, but it doesn't give that back support that I've needed. And I've tried every back brace I can get a hold of, some of the really, really, really expensive ones even. And because the way my body is designed and where my injuries and pain are, they just can't give me support in the right spot. They just don't adjust like that. And then they're digging in and creating sores and cuts and whatnot. And I was even wearing corsets just to give me more support because you can kind of shimmy the corset down a little lower and kind of be over the hips. And so corsets are beautiful and all, but those suckers are expensive. And after a while, it would be kind of nice to be able to breathe and fully without not being able to have support. So I love corsets, but I also like to be able to, wear everyday clothes and breathe. And this is that this has given me the solution. It is giving me the solution to adjusting to just the right spots better than any brace I have ever had. Now, I'm not saying there isn't a brace out there that might do the same, but I haven't found it. So if I go to cross it over my foot like I would normally do, I'm going to fall over. That's just what's going to happen. Normally, I take my little grabber. I don't have my grabber. My son broke it. So I thought I was going to try either my cane or a hanger. And we're going to see what happens because this is all experimenting. So I'm going to take the hanger. I'm going to loop it through here just so it catches. And okay, here we go. So that way I don't have to bend as far over and I can kind of just hook my foot into the hanger and then, ha, it worked. Solutions. I am so excited about that. So, we learned together today. Of course, I got a whole bunch more dog hair because I had to drag the ground, but I got it. It's where it needs to be. And that is very exciting. So I'm just going to keep this on here because I don't want to lose it while I get the rest of the straps on this side accomplished. So now I'm going to untuck the forgotten strap, the double straps over here, making sure that it's still the size that I need. Now, because I crossed over, this side doesn't have the red tape, but I want that. So I'm making sure that I have the right side and I'm using the right band. I'm going to cross this one underneath my thigh. Okay. And then these two are going to meet in just a minute because I need to loosen this and adjust this. And now that I can get a hold of it, I can pull on it. I can make sure that it's crossing where I need it to cross. Everything looks good. And it does indeed. Now, I am way looser than I was yesterday, but I think that's also because I figured this out a little bit better than from yesterday. So that means that while it's still loose, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this double band up here to be a little bit tighter. Actually, no, I want the supported 2 extensions. I thought for a second about taking off the smaller extension strap, but I'm not really sure. I am. I'm going to see what happens. It's an experiment day, right? Let's just see what happens. So I'm going to remove the small extension strap, and I'm going to go ahead and fix my pant leg there because normally I wear pants a little bit differently. All right, there we go. So I'm going to fold over the scratchy Velcro so that it doesn't scratch and catch and whatnot as I pull it through the words. As I pull it through the little loop side of the other one. All right, there we go. Now, unfortunately, this isn't as nice and neat as it was because I'd already pre-done the other side. But 1, 2, 3, we're going to go 4. I'm going to cross that there. Now that I have the strap attached to my foot, it can help me bring up my leg because for some reason, I just seem to have a hard time doing that without the support of something helping me pull it up. Really don't know why. But ta-da, I got one leg down. Now we're going to do the same on the other side. And, maybe I won't talk so much. So since I know that I'm going to go ahead and remove the short extension strap, I'm just going to do that right now. There we go. And I'm just going to tuck that in and hold it. Okay, so we have the long extension strap. I'm going to make sure my shirt's all good. Oh, man, I dropped my hanger. All right, Mr. Kane, it's your turn. Because I'm not going to go get my hanger. I don't feel like falling over. So, since I'm going to try the cane this time, I think I'm going to take the little, how low do I want to do it? I don't want to do it all the way down. I think I'm going to do it this side. So I'm just picking a loop to secure it to. And I'm going to do the same kind of concept as what I did with the hanger. I know this just seems all kinds of crazy, and there probably is a much easier way to do this, but my brain ain't working. So this is what I got. And I literally just hooked it like that. And I'm going to remove my cane now. Come on. You can do it. Come out. Thank you. And I know this seems like a lot of crazy work. And like, why would you go through all of this? I promise you, absolutely worth it. And if you're just putting it on, it's probably not this crazy. It's because I'm trying to explain it as I do it. And I'm all dizzy, woozy, and weirdness. So it really isn't that crazy. It just seems that way because of doing the video like this. So I'm going to take my scratchy side, fold it over, because I lost the little extra Velcro pieces that they come with to help like avoid this part. Excuse me. All right, there we go. And how many did I do? 4? 1, 2. Come here. And I think we're going to do 3. I do like that. I like everything to be even, but sometimes when I'm way out of alignment and my body's just jacked, I'll have one leg that kind of is effectively shorter than the other. So being able to adjust each leg individually is amazing. There you have it. Now, I've got to stand up. Come here. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to do a quick little turnaround, and then I'm going to adjust and shimmy and make it all comfortable for me. So here's what it looks like with the extra wraps around the torso and the back. I'm just kind of supporting my feet against the walker right now while I stand. And I'm just going to, I like it a little lower over my hips, and I like this one a little bit wider and this one to go down a little bit more. So I'm just going to adjust each little strap and shift and shimmy until I just feel really comfortable and secure. And like everything is like where it needs to be and covered. And now I promise I'll turn back over so I'm not just talking to air. Well, I'm talking to air anyway, right? But so I like this. This feels comfy. I know that it's not as even and symmetrical, which normally would bug the crap out of me. But I'm seeing double of everything anyway, so it doesn't matter. It feels good. And already, if you noticed, when I very first was getting up before putting on the braids, I was super wobbly, like even just getting up to grab the walker just for a little bit of balance and support. And just the difference right now in this, like I'm still going to fall over if I try to walk, but I can feel my body. I can feel where I am. I feel more stable. I feel more grounded. I feel secured. It's almost like someone is standing behind me and giving me that support hug, holding me up, which is, amazing. So now I have to get my happy butt over here, and I'm going to try out with my cane and just see. Oh yeah, of course I'm still dizzy and wobbly, but I can walk. And there we go. Little curtsy twirl, little curtsy twirl. So I love it. I do. And so this adaptation for the low back is incredible. Like I wasn't even going to be able to take any more shifts work at all. I wasn't even able to like stand and walk around and enjoy going out to amusement parks and activities without having something I could sit and rest on. And it's just such a bummer and interrupter, for my son. He's 5. He doesn't want to have to stop every few minutes because mommy needs to sit down, So it has made a huge difference. And I've been trying really hard not to get emotional and cry during today's video because I do that almost every video or almost every time I talk about this system because it really has made that much of an incredible difference. So yeah, that is today's video on trying to adapt when you're having a harder time just functioning and still being able to put on your body braid, as well as throwing in an adaptation for the low back. And I can tell you right now, my low back feels more supported than any brace that I've been able to wear. So my next adventure will be maybe figuring out something like just the SI, the hips, but that's probably going to be for another day. So please like, follow, subscribe, check out bodybraid.com. If you have questions, comments, or the ideas, adaptations, if you use the body braid or something that you would like to see me try to adjust for and kind of figure out, please let me know. Reach out. I mean, this is a new passion of mine. I'm going to be doing a lot of these. So I will see you next time.